I was getting down to that song right there. Hello. Like that.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a few songs that we wanted to pick through, but I felt like that was the most fitting. But yeah.
I love it. Love it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my humble show and live. This is Julia Holly with Kuya Istilo, and you go by Willie.
Yes.
Willie Cortez. And yeah, I stumbled on one of your viral videos on Instagram, and you're a creator. You are doing multiple things, especially with Filipino fashion and doing really cool stuff in the influencer world.
I mean, I like to think so. That's really up to the audience to say whether it's cool or not. But really, I'd say above all else, I've been just enjoying creating community and meeting a lot of amazing Filipino American, Filipino Canadian, all Filipinos from the diaspora, creators, business owners. And that's really been the biggest joy of what I've been doing lately.
This is really cool. I know. I didn't even know there were that many Canadians, like Filipino Canadians, because of social media.
They're out here. Yeah. Like apparently Toronto is like the California of Canada, I think. We got the Bay Area Filipinos and the LA Filipinos, or the SoCal, NorCal Filipinos big here. It seems like they're all in Toronto doing it big out there. So yeah, shout out to the Toronto Filipino Canadians.
No, seriously. And there's quite a few business owners too. I recently interviewed a business owner owner of Cambio jewelry, and she said there's a great business community over there in Toronto area. Okay. And so, yeah, definitely, like, you should make it a plan of yours to travel over there and just like start collaborating.
I've definitely been meaning to. I'm actually pretty close with the Filipino brand Vinta Gallery, who does a lot of really beautiful barongs and ternos and Filipinianas and all that. And they're actually based out of Toronto. They have a showroom here in LA, but their company itself is Toronto. So they're always like, when are you going to get out here and see the city and tap in with the community here? And I'm like, I need to do it soon. Probably summer while it's not cold,
Seriously. I'm sure you're busy enough too with the Filipinos over there in LA. But you're from Northern California, as we were talking about it earlier. Yes. Where are you from originally?
Yeah, so for the most part, I grew up in Sacramento, California, aka not the Bay Area. I know anytime I tell people I'm from NorCal, I got to make sure they know I don't think I'm from the Bay. I know I'm from Sacramento. Okay, I'm from the 916. No, it's true. Listen, I cringe at the Sac people that try to claim the Bay Area as well, so I get it. But yeah, I'm from Sacramento.
I grew up them calling it Sacktown. Like we would
Sacktown. That's right. Tupac, Sacktown, Bay Area, and back down, right? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what brought you down to SoCal? I'm guessing it had to do with the college.
Yeah, so initially I came to Southern California for college, and then I had thought about going back up, maybe to actually move to the Bay Area. Because actually my dad did for a while live in like Vallejo and Alameda, Berkeley kind of area. So I was incrementally in the Bay when I would go visit him. But yeah, after college was over, you kind of build your tribe in college and your people. And so I wanted to work in entertainment. And so, yeah, LA just felt like the more reasonable step to kind of move next door, because I went to college in Orange County. So
yeah,
brought me to LA, and then I've been here ever since.
I mean, it's the entertainment capital of the world. I mean, pretty much, right?
It is.
So, okay, so you wanted to be in that field. What got you into fashion and barongs and everything that you're doing now?
Yeah, so fashion is actually a relatively new thing for me. I would say maybe I've been into it like a year and a half, kind of. Like last January, I took a trip to Japan. I go to Japan incrementally for work, so I've been fortunate to go there many times. But this time I just was really fascinated by how many people were committed to looks, especially in Tokyo. Living in LA, a lot of fashion forward people, right? But when you go to Tokyo, you kind of see these cliques of people that are committed to an aesthetic. You'll see these groups of rockabillys and a group of cholos and a group of like vampires. I don't know. You just see these committed looks that you're like, wow, they're really wearing what they feel. It seems like they're all being really true to themselves.
Like
And
their identity, like who they identify with.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me think, you know, wow, I think all of the different outfits I thought were really cool, but I would feel like I shouldn't wear any of them. Like, oh, people don't view me that way. That's not me. And so I just sort of came up with this personal philosophy of, I think if you think an outfit is really great or a piece of clothing is really great, why shouldn't you wear it? You know, if you think it's great, then it is you, you know, and people around you can either accept that and embrace it or, you know, fall by the wayside. So that was sort of the philosophy that got me into it. And so naturally that sort of idea of exploring oneself led me to my Filipino heritage and what that meant. And the initial thing that took off with the barongs was I made, for better or for worse, I made the cutoff barong tank, you know, which can be a controversial piece, you know, it can be a controversial piece. But that got me a lot of attention at a like a kind of a outdoor market here in LA from another fashion content creator. And that video blew up on my TikTok. And so that sort of then launched me into this journey of doing fashion stuff.
Kind of like this cutoff right here.
Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah, that is different. And I mean, it makes sense. It's so freaking hot in the Philippines. I mean, why didn't they do that a long time ago? It's hot in LA. I mean,
right. Yeah. And the other thing was the initial reason I cut off the sleeves was because they just had ripped. You know how I don't know if you've ever had a barong or like the, you know, the piña material can be really, and I think mine was Husalin, the first one. So it was like even the cheaper, like silk,
it's uncomfortable
polyester. Like and it rips. So I was like, I either got to throw this out. I can't hem the sleeves. It's not the material. You can't stitch it because it's transparent. So I was like, let me take them off. So that's kind of where it was born out of.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to, I think it's a Jamie. You might know them, that they're like, Willie, let's go. Thanks for watching.
Oh, Jamie. Hey, check out Jamie by Ben NYC.
Okay.
Ben here is a fantastic brand owner, designer out of New York City, Filipino. Really great stuff for summer. Man, I wish Ben, all the stuff I have of yours is in the wash right now, or I wish I could show it off, but yeah.
That's awesome.
Ben does great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I also interviewed Rafi from New York. He does like amazing purses, and he's
okay.
Like if Ben doesn't, I mean, I'm good. Okay, Jamie by Ben. I'm probably
it's Ben, yeah. Jamie's the brand, Ben's the designer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, they could collab too. But yeah, no. Okay, so you were saying you did. So do you do the sewing too? Like, do you actually, like, do you work with somebody who helps you with that? Since I know you mentioned you upcycle.
That is a great question. That's a great question. You know, I've been sewing for about a year now. So I do sew some of my own things. I mostly hem things and upcycle. So I try to make it out of existing garments because I'm not great at pattern making yet, which is a whole other incredible skill and art that people are able to do. For the barongs, I have sewn some of them, but they take a lot more skill level than my current expertise level, which is beginner intermediate. So I have, you know, a little old lady down the street that I take them to, and she knows how to, so she helps me out with the, alterations that are a little bit out of my league, you know?
Oh yeah. No, I think it's like one of those things, it's almost like a lost skill set. I mean, it's so, even here where I am, you know, small town, there's only a handful of folks who could do amazing alterations to expensive garments, that kind of thing. So as sensitive as barong material can be, you need to have somebody who has that skill set.
Absolutely. You know, a good tailor, I say, is, you know, like having a good barber or a good hair stylist. it's like once you trust them and they can do a good job with what you want, you're going to be a lifelong loyal customer,
Exactly. So this is like a side hustle, right? Like you do this on the side with a full-time job?
Yeah, I also have a full-time job as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot to juggle. So how are you managing it all and running your business? You're getting a lot of opportunities through, I'm guessing, TikTok and Instagram. You have those channels. So tell us a little bit about how you're juggling it all and balancing it.
If you just commit to sleeping less, you'd be amazed what you can do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Fortunately, I have had some practice in not sleeping. There was a period of my life where I worked in-house for a fire department on an ambulance. So, I was getting up all hours of the night and all that. So I feel like that experience previously prepared me for what I was going to be doing now, which is just waking up early in the morning and then going to bed late and kind of doing the rest of life in between. But, they always say, am I tired some days? Yes. Are there days where I'm like, I don't want to film content right now. I just want to hang out and watch Netflix, but I also really do love what I love what I do. And, I don't know if Ben is still on the live right now, but, working with folks like him, these small Filipinx brands that, yeah, look at, that one right there, that comment right there. Yeah. Working with those brands for me is a huge energizer, engaging with the community. I mean, one of my big philosophies is supporting these small Filipinx and BIPOC brands, and the letters you get that they send with their garments or their merch, the gratitude is worth, every minute of sleep lost. And I really do feel like they're sharing their passion with me and their hard work and their sleepless nights. They're sharing that with me. And so I can pay that forward to them by doing the same thing to promote them. So it's really a handshake. It's totally a mutual exchange. And that's been the best blessing above anything else.
And I love that because I am, safely assuming that companies that focus on barongs, they're like on the older traditional side, just small mom and pops that focuses on this, and I love how you're connecting the generational gaps that might be happening, and they don't know how to promote themselves on social media, maybe, and then you're focusing on that, and I just love that you're helping them along too. So I like to me, I don't even know where to start to shop for that. If I were to have to plan for a wedding and I want it to be traditional and pay homage to my heritage.
Mm-hmm.
I have cousins who are getting married. I'm sure they're going to have like the trending barong style type of wedding. So, what would you say? I don't want you to get in trouble because I'm sure you have a lot of favorites, but who are some of your top, or I don't want to say top.
No, I understand what you're saying. Who are companies that I've enjoyed working with?
Yeah.
For me, it's easy not to choose a top because I think there's other categories you can put them in, right? So I can start with something as simple as, hey, what's your budget, right? If your budget is, something a little more conservative, then I know some great barong brands that will do justice to the price point and give you a great product and make you feel amazing. If you're like, hey, I want a piece that's, a luxury piece that feels very customized, that is going to be an heirloom, I know brands that you can go there. So to me, I'm always a big proponent of supporting small businesses. So I like the brands. Probably the barong brand I'm closest with is Vinta Gallery. I think they do great work. There's also just a lot of meaning and artistry in what they do. So their barongs tell us a much deeper story than just the pattern you see. I mean, this is one of their pieces actually that I'm wearing right now.
That's cool.
And I think, if you were ever at your Lolo and Lola's house and saw the little Vinta with the different bolo knives and krises on it, this immediately calls to that traditional little shield with the weapons on it. But it's also this cool modern fit that you can wear out and about and feel like you're calling back to your heritage, but also wearing something very fashion forward and contemporary. So Vinta is probably one of the brands I would advocate the most for. But there's some other really good ones. LA, there's Mestizo LA. I think they have a New York version called Mestizo New York. They're also a luxury group. In fact, visit their page. They just released some images of some modern stylings that are killer. So I'm definitely copying those looks soon. Sorry, Mestizo. But they wore a cowboy hat in one of the looks, and I've been wearing cowboy hats for a while with my barong. So I'm like, I feel like, there's some mutual. I feel like.
Okay, I'm probably gonna. Oh, okay. I think I'm like, I don't know if I'm spelling this right, but I think I found
Mestizo with a Z, LA. Yeah.
I think that's it.
The look with the yeah. If you pull up their IG though, they have
their IG has everything. Okay.
Yeah, they have a really
nice
great styling that Vogue Philippines did. There it is right there. Right there. I don't know if that'll pull up the look, but
it looks like it is.
Yeah.
So then do people contact you to help style and just consult you on where to go?
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, I'm styling the lead for a Netflix show for 2 events next week. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Sam Morelos is one of the leads on the Netflix show, That 90s Show, which is the spinoff of That 70s Show. They're entering season 2. So they have some press events and a red carpet event next week. So I'm styling Sam for that. And what's amazing is I'm using all Filipino brands to style Sam. So the jewelry is all going to be actually this brand, Tula Designs. And then there's I can't show you the outfit, but there's another designer called 246 Studios, a Filipino woman who upcycle designs her own stuff here in LA, who's Sam's going to be wearing. So
that's awesome.
I think that's a cool event, right? There's a Filipino actor with a Filipino stylist, Filipino clothes, Filipino jewelry, all Filipino everything. And that's definitely what I was hoping to be a part of when I started this journey.
That's so cool. So you're already I love how both worlds are colliding in a sense where your heritage and you want to be in an entertainment, and you're styling celebrities. That's awesome. So how did that open up for you? Did they find you on social media?
Yeah.
It looks like you got quite a few people watching live. If you guys have questions.
Oh yeah, what's up? Yeah, ask some questions. What's going on? Yeah, please ask questions. I would love to talk to people. I'm a talker. I'm a yapper. Okay. So yeah, I've done a couple. I also did Chef Maynard, who is Kuya Lord, who just won the James Beard Award for Best Chef in California. So I styled him as well for the James Beard Awards.
No way.
And he wore a barong, but I actually his pants were actually a boutique Black-owned brand here in LA. Because as I said, I'm also an advocate for BIPOC brands, especially local talent called Mbari. So check out Mbari. Their pants, undefeated. But
do you have photos of the celebrities that you styled?
Yeah, there should be. You know, I don't think I have the Getty images yet of Chef Maynard, but there's a video on my page of his look.
Okay, cool.
And I actually one of my recent videos is those pants. I'm doing my own style look of those pants. But
okay, cool.
But yeah, Chef Lord Maynard, he's actually a friend of mine. So we were actually at a Filipino event, and he just yelled at me from across. He was cooking, and he yelled at me. I was in line to eat some of his food. He's like, Kuya, are you gonna dress me for the James Beard? And I was like, say less, of course. You know, I was like, for a plate of lechon, I'll do anything. All right. So that's how that happened. But with Sam Morelos, it was actually Sam's publicist reached out to me because Sam specifically really loves to highlight Filipino heritage because Sam's Filipino, and also loves thrifted things. And that was kind of, one of my early iterations was this upcycled thrifted stuff. So the publicist was like, hey, this seems like a really good fit. And so far it has been. Yeah. So this is actually my second time I'll be styling Sam. But it's been a really fun experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I know people who do this full time. They style celebrities. That's a whole nother world. I was like, oh, that sounds like so much fun. Just fashion and styling celebrities.
It's fun, but you have those like midnight nightmares. Like for some reason, it's not going to fit, or like, I don't know, you're driving there and somehow red paint spills on some unrational fear about something happening to the clothes is always like in my mind.
Oh yeah. Like wardrobe malfunctions on stage happens to women. It happened recently at the Oscars, but I'm like, oh my gosh, what a nightmare.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And those are all the things you have to prepare for. The kit you put together as a stylist has everything from, mints and, mouthwash to, fashion tape and safety pins and sewing kits and Tide pens and all that. You just got to be prepared for any situation.
I know we talked about a little bit of your, so I saw your viral video of when it says like, it showed up when you look Latino, but you're Filipino. And then that one came up in my feed and I was cracking up because it happens to me all the time. I look like something vague and they're like, what are you? Everyone asks me all the time, what are you? Or where are you from? Where are you originally from?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm from America. I was born in America. And, but yeah, so, and then you said there was another one that went to 1 million views on TikTok, wasn't it?
It's not quite at 1 million, but it's almost at 1 million. Also, what's up, Princess Jasmine?
Thank you for watching.
I know a couple Jasmines. I know one of my Princess Jasmine friends' tag on IG is an old friend of mine, so I'm not sure who that is, but that's also my sister's name, so it could be my sister or no. But what's up, by the way? Yeah, so the one I believe you're talking about, it's your sister.
Yes. She's like, it's your sister, duh. Yes.
Man, she's like, I'm gonna take advantage of this situation and roast him on the comments.
Yeah, tell me all the backstory of
all the embarrassing childhood stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the video I think you're talking about that you first saw was the one, is it the cowboy hat one? Was it where everybody thinks you're basically Mexican when you wear a Filipino wearing a cowboy hat in LA?
Wearing a wig. Like you're wearing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so then that's the one you saw then? That's the one that is almost at 1 million now. Yeah, that's so weird. That probably is the one you saw. Yeah. Where it's like the old lady, the abuela in the supermarket.
Yeah.
That happens to me on a daily basis.
Well, but you're in LA. Like,
yes.
They're going to speak to you in Spanish.
And actually, I have no problem with it, but that fear in me always comes up when, in fact, the other day, a car was driving by on the street and it was like these older Latinx women, and they rolled down the window and they're like, ven baka, which means like, come here. And I'm like, and I kind of understand that phrase. And then they start speaking Spanish to me and I'm like, soy Filipino. And then they switch to English and they're like, oh, where can we park around here? Is that no parking? That I was like, no, you're good. But yeah, it happens on a daily basis. And I take note. If anything, I'm honored. I am cool with that. But just please don't be mad at me when I don't know how to speak back in Spanish. That's the only thing.
Oh yeah. No, I still do the whole thing where, to be polite, I say hablo español un poquito. Like I'll still try to pull up. I mean, that's all I know. I mean, I had and then I'll say I had high school Spanish.
Well, and I don't know if you experience this, but one of the things that happens to me is my Spanish pronunciation is pretty good because I grew up in California. So what I do know how to say in Spanish is it's not totally butchering it.
Yeah.
But what I realized is that when I respond in Spanish that sounds too clean, they'd like look at me and then just continue in Spanish, where they're like, what? No.
No,
So
like, no,
now,
you can speak to me in Spanish, English.
yeah. So now I felt like I had to start kind of dumbing my Spanish down and making more improper pronunciations of Spanish. So it's more believable that I haven't just perfected how to say this one phrase really well,
No, yeah, no, it's funny. It happens to me all the time. But okay, so being in LA, and you probably hear a lot, like, did you ever meet Joe Coy?
No, but that's a goal. So, if anyone has a Joe Coy plug, shout out, hey Joe Coy, let me,
I know,
get you
style him.
styled up, bro. Let's
Yeah.
let's get you in a barong tank.
And
Got it.
okay,
Let's go.
random story. There was a show here in Tallahassee, in where I am, and it was one of the smaller shows, and I got to meet him. I got to just go backstage and say hi. I tried to get him on my show, this one. He's like, I don't do interviews. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I gave it a try.
Hey, you got to shoot your shot, though. I respect that. I
But
respect
nice.
that.
He was nice. He was nice about it.
I know a couple. I'm like on social. I'm friends and followed by a few actors that have worked with him. Like Eugene. Forgive me if I'm getting the last name wrong. I think it's Eugene Cordero.
Okay.
Who is in like Easter Sunday and a bunch of those movies.
Okay.
It might be Cadera.
Yeah, I mean, I can look it up if you want.
Yeah, Eugene. I know his first name's Eugene though. He's a comedian. We follow each other, so
cool.
I'm only a few degrees away, but I feel like hopefully the socials keep growing.
You probably could meet him. Like I'm sure you have enough. Eugene Cordero.
It is Cordero, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I did meet Joey. Yeah, I'm gonna botch the last name. But I know it's getting close to 3:30, but I feel like I still have a lot of questions to ask you. And so going back to what you're doing, and I like how you say you like to, focus on your heritage, and I love how you want to. It's almost like it says here, you want to get a sense of like supporting I guess it's Big Brother style. It's the fashion style that you're trying to aim for.
I think you may have. When people ask me what Kuya means, I just why I chose the name, like because it's like saying Big Brother style in English, which I still think would be a cool name too. But yeah, that's all. So in that sense of like being the Kuya of style, is just kind of the idea of, I hope when people come to my page, and the reason I love to promote other businesses and organizations is I just want them to think of me as somebody that they can look to for advice, and not necessarily sage wisdom. Like, listen, I'm not going to give you my life philosophy because I'm not in a position to do that. But if you want like cool clothes, no cool companies, really great brands, hopefully you can trust me to put you on game for those. So that's sort of the idea of the Kuya part of that. It's just someone you look to for advice on, maybe cultural things.
That's cool. And I mean, yeah, you've been doing this for how long now? Like it's been a couple years, or it's been longer?
Are you saying the fashion sort of stuff? No, actually, I would say only about a year now. Only about a year. But what I think kind of happened is I filled this niche where I realized, hey, if I'm, if you're Filipino, if you're Latinx, whatever cultural group you identify with, right? It may be queer, whatever it is. There's so many opportunities where you're looking to buy clothes or jewelry or cups or whatever, right? Decor around the house. And you could go to Target or you could go wherever and, spend your money on those things. But you might be really inclined to want to buy from people that you resonate with culturally, or or community wise. And so my goal is to just be the shortcut to that. So instead of you having to look up Filipino owned jewelry brands or you can come to my page and go, let me find the jewelry posts. Okay, let me go to these websites and support those businesses. Because I really think it's a circular thing, right? Like by a small brand can inspire you by following their passion and dreams and quitting their day job to share their craft with the world. And then by you purchasing their goods, you're also validating and supporting and funding their passion and their creativity. So I think it's like kind of a cool cyclical thing to do.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, speaking of, because you mentioned passion and it's only been a year, and I think you're really doing well for having to do, post social media content. It's a lot of work. It's not an easy thing to do. And that's why people hire out. But I think it's the best when it is you managing it, because it is related to content you're passionate about. What would you say as advice to anyone who's considering? And I mean, speaking of hustle, like surviving in California, you definitely need a day job and a second source of income, or sometimes in some cases, third source of income. Like you already understand, like that is true hustle. And so what would you say to anyone out there, just to give inspiration, other Filipino Americans also, or Filipino entrepreneurs? What would you say?
Yeah, I guess I have a couple thoughts on that. One is in terms of like the content page, like the social media page. A rule I came up with myself very early on was I was only going to do what I enjoyed. So I try not to focus on how many followers am I going to get with this? How many likes will this get? Because that's not something you can sustainably chase. That's never going to you can get all the followers, you can be getting all the likes. It's never going to satisfy your appetite for followers or for likes, because you're always going to want more, right? And so that would be one rule, is find your purpose, find your mission, and pursue that. For me, it's building community. I want to build community. I don't want to try to fit into the community I think I belong to. I want to build, or maybe I should say, find myself surrounded by the community that I want to be a part of. So I would encourage you to find the community that you naturally are uplifted when you surround yourself with them. The other is there's a great analogy I had a friend tell me with wine, and I don't drink a lot of wine, but I was asking, hey, is this a good wine? And they said, well, is it good to you? I said, yeah. They said, well, then it's a good wine. So I think that's another philosophy I try to live by, which is, don't try to pursue the things or be the person that you think other people want you to be. Because number one, oftentimes they want you to be yourself, and you're just imposing all this self-criticism of what you think you should be to other people. And so instead, if you're finding joy, if you're finding happiness and balance in what you're doing, then it's working. It's good because you feel good about it. So that would be the other thing. It's really about authenticity, finding a clear passion and mission for yourself and pursuing that, instead of trying to pursue these sort of superficial metrics that aren't sustainable.
That's so good. I mean, oh, look at this. Awesome. Look at all these people. I love you.
I turned into Tito Estilo. Stupid.
Didn't he? Yes. No, it sounded so wise. No, that was so good. It was so good. And because social media really can be mentally taxing. If you're chasing the metrics, you're chasing likes and all of that. I love how they're making us laugh at the same time. But yeah, no, no, it's true. I really appreciate that, because that's kind of why I don't post just regular standard marketing posts too. These shows are really what I'm passionate about, like people telling their story. And so I have a great time. People respond to it and they say, these are awesome. And especially other Filipinos reaching out to me and saying those interviews were awesome, and I didn't even know they existed. I didn't know these people had so much success for decades, right? And so, is there anything else you'd love to conclude with? Because yeah, we will definitely clip that, JB. We will that was a highlight. I already put it in my internal notes. But yeah, no, yeah. If there's anything you'd like to end with, shout outs, how can we support you? What can we do to support what you're doing on your side hustle? And then we'll just go ahead and conclude.
I'd say my main thing I want to shout out is just, hey, we all have an opportunity to support small businesses and support the creative passions of people who have dared to step out on their own and pursue their passions. And I hope that you as the viewers out there, the proverbial yous, are inspired by that to take your own leaps of faith. But as a form of gratitude for that inspiration, to go support those brands, buy their products, rock their clothes, tag them in posts. And to support me, follow my page. That would be great. But I would say what I would love even more is for you to find the posts where I'm promoting these small brands and go follow them, go share their content. Because as Filipinos, speaking directly to the Filipino audience, this is our moment. We have an opportunity to really write ourselves into the American narrative or the Canadian narrative or the world narrative and say, this is us. We're going to impose our views, our culture, our heritage, and into what fashion means, what food means, what music means. And the catalyst to that movement can start with us supporting one another. So get out there, support your people.
I love it. And that's why I feel like there's so much momentum with those who are taking the lead to do that. And so thank you so much for taking the time to be on my humble show for Filipino Hustle Fridays. And yeah, let's keep in touch. Would love to promote whatever is going on with you, your events. Let me know when your stars are on stage so we can share those as well.
I will.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And thank you. And shout out to you. You're doing great work as well. I said this, I think, off camera earlier, but you're also, by you asking me, and I'm sure so many other creatives, Filipino minds that are doing cool things, you're also really validating what we do by putting together this podcast, having us on and trying to share with the community as well. So thank you. Thank you, Julia, for having me and for what you do.
Thank you so much. I'm going to call you Willie.
Yeah. That's fine.
Because I know I'm older than you. You're not.
You're out there, but you're not much older. So, definitely, I'm definitely not your kuya, but you look younger than me. So.
No, that's the beauty of also Filipino genes. Mm-hmm. Gotta love that. And so, thanks for all of your people watching the show. And
thanks everyone.
Go ahead and end the stream and see you on the